and welcome to Tinted Specs podcast. I'm Georgina, and joining me today is Kirsten Kulukundis of The Next Half. Welcome, Kirsten.
Thank you very much, Georgina. It's great to be here.
I know this is the first of many podcasts that you're doing with as a guest, so we will take you in gently. So why don't you just tell everyone a bit about The Next Half?
Thanks, Georgina. You're right. This is the first online interview I've done after about 400 in-person interviews, but thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here. So The Next Half is an advisory service that helps people figure out their next path. I help women aged 45 plus, who I call midlifers or experienced midlife people, as well as founders of developing businesses. We offer both a personal and a business development advisory service, and we're flying, so it's great. I passionately believe that we all can refocus, respark, and reach for our dreams. And I think we all deserve to be excited about our futures, but sometimes we just need a little starter fluid to figure out that next path, and that's where I come in.
I love the fact you use starter fluid. I was thinking WD-40 or something like that. So yeah, you just need a bit of an oiling up, or I know, having spoken to you in the past, that it's how you do it is in a very encouraging manner. And why don't you tell everyone when The Next Half actually came, when it started?
Okay, great. It really was just by chance. And just to tell you a little bit about my journey. So I guess I have 4 chapters in my life story so far. Hopefully there's more to come, but I was raised in America, as you can hear from my drawl. And I worked in finance and strategic planning there and advised boards of multinationals, from age of 26. Anyway, I moved to London and I continued my career. And then my first day back at work from maternity leave, I got the dreaded call that no parent wants from the A&E saying my son was severely damaged in an accident, a life-threatening accident, and by our nanny, first day back at work. And I needed to come and help him and be with him because he might not survive. Anyway, I left the office and I never went back to it. I spent the next 7 years rehabbing my son and raising 2 more. It's interesting to me that, one can have a sort of a roadmap, a life plan, and your whole life can just change in a split second because of some, unplanned intervention. And I guess what I learned from that was how you address that problem and learn from it and recover from it and go on is a key to life. And that's one of the reasons I really believe in positivity, which I brought into The Next Half. Anyway, just to finish my journey, the next chapter was I raised my 3 sons and I mentored and advised corporate boards. And then chapter 3 was I returned to corporate finance world and I advised business leaders on investment viability. But I had this sort of nagging sensation that I wasn't quite doing what I wanted to do in my life, or I was needed to do or hoped to do. And then I had this epiphany over lockdown when there was a collision between my 30 years of finance and strategy experience, bang, and my passion to help women over age 45. And how I had that epiphany is another story, but that's why I started something over the lockdown.
Well, I think that what's clear is the experience you had after your son's awful accident when he was younger, i.e. how to move on from a roadmap that you had very clearly signposted. It's very similar to what's happened during the pandemic for many, many other people. So I guess the experience that you had from that, you've been able to draw into this new business, The Next Half. And clearly you've got a huge amount of experience as well. So people are very lucky to have you around. So can you tell us a little bit about what The Next Half can do for young women, or not young women, women from 45 plus?
Young in spirit.
Yes. Young in spirit, yes.
So I focus on, I have 2 services. I provide you a personal advisory as well as a business development advisory. And they came together during this epiphany I said I had over lockdown. Why don't I talk for a minute about that epiphany, and that will explain the 2 parts of my business. So,
please do, yeah.
Thank you. So I've done a lot of investment advice, presentation advice, business planning advice for entrepreneurs, for established companies. And I had an opportunity over lockdown to listen to some women who were not yet established in business, but they had pretty interesting business ideas. They had models that they wanted to present for feedback. And this one person had a great business model, but she didn't have the confidence to present it. And she started to cry online, and it was, life and was all Zoom, then. And she started to cry on Zoom, and I went into the chat and I said a couple of encouraging words, which helped her. And that's when I had my epiphany that my business experience can actually help women that are my age that might not have had my business experience, but have fantastic ideas. Let's give them a little oomph, let's give them a little confidence. Let's give them a little bit of, you can do this, with perhaps some tweaking of, skills to make it perfect, and, go out there and seize the world, seize your next half. Sorry. So what was the question? I was getting excited and passionate, wasn't I?
No, well, that was the epiphany, which is very, very important. And actually that was because I saw a post on your Instagram page, which was the difference between try and triumph is just a little oomph. And I think that that's exactly what you've just explained. And, being able to talk through your ideas with someone who has such a huge amount of experience, and then be able to just be an outside viewpoint as well, must be incredibly useful for people, for women.
Sorry for the Zoom interruption there. I say, so the next half offers personal advisory. I focus on women over the age of 45. And I use I'm a trained coach. I can use my coaching and my mentoring experience, being a mom of 3, and just sort of life experiences. And for that segment, I write a blog, which I just discuss issues that I hope are relevant, that I think are relevant. And it seems to be resonating because I have, in the last 4 months, this all started 5 months ago, and I have subscribers in 4 continents, and we're flying. I love that side of the business. I love to help and encourage and just feel the gratitude, and that people in New Zealand, people in Australia, people in America, people in England. I love that I can reach the people that I'm reaching, and I'm honored that they share with me their comments and their concerns and their questions. It's really fulfilling. The business side, the business advisory side, is sort of more my expertise of what I've been doing for my bread and butter. But I decided to focus on developing businesses, because that's a segment that the over 45 are often struggling with. And right now we're at capacity. I have 12 corporate clients, and I have more on the wait list, and we're growing. So I couldn't be more fulfilled, more happy, and I'm chuffed to bits that the business is resonating with lots.
I think one of the main reasons why it resonates is the mentoring aspect, though, isn't it? So because you help people to break through barriers. I think there was another quote here. Obstacles. Obstacles. Well, I love a good quote, as you'll find out later. But yeah, break through obstacles and see a different way through. But I think that being a mentor now is something so important. I mean, I interviewed a friend called Sam the other week for Child Of Project, and which is all about helping people affected by alcoholism. And she's been mentoring a few young women and men, but I think mainly women, to get a portfolio together so they can apply to study theatre design or something like that, because she's a fully trained fashion designer. And I think this is so important, because a lot of people don't have or didn't have the same opportunities when they were younger as to what they have now. So you're giving them an opportunity to be able to reach their full potential.
Yeah, and that's why the blog sort of varies between talking about interview skills, talking about relationships with your kids and your friends, talking about career development. I said interview skills, but also, finance, and how do you articulate your career objective if it's not where you are now? How do you transition to a different role? The blog talks about, friends, relationships, family,
fashion,
career. Yeah, it's interesting. I try to sprinkle in once every 3 weeks or 4 weeks something that's more lighthearted than just what is your path, because that gets quite intense for me and my readers. So yeah, sometimes I talk about the spell that's in my closet that shrinks my clothes. It has nothing to do with me just not exercising enough. Or I talk about Passion 21 and how I my spin on it, or I talk about skincare. Anyway, I hope that the blog has something for everybody.
But I think that you're fulfilling a need where it's not just about the business, because it's all the other things that affect your life, which could be children. And I think you did, I think, a blog or a podcast on how to help graduates get interviews, or how they should behave in an interview. And I think that for some parents, that's really, really difficult. They don't know how to help their, child when they get to that stage, or in fact themselves if they're having to go back to, to interviewing again. And I love the lighthearted aspect. I love there's a picture of you in your dry robe on holiday, which I thought was really funny. And I think it's really important to look at the full picture. It's not just the business, it's everything else that affects people's lives around them. So you also starred on the front cover of the Darling magazine.
I did.
How was that, Kirsten?
The actual experience of being a model in the front cover was horrendous. I can tell you, I'd much rather be behind the scenes helping other people figure out their paths. I'm not a front of the screen person, as you can tell from today. But no, the fact that Darling labeled me inspiring women was just such an honor, and I appreciated them approaching me and asking if I'd like to do the interview.
I think it's fantastic, inspiring. It's almost like you should have like an award, a chalice or something, like a BAFTA, but for inspiring women.
My pen.
Your pen. Yes. So,
you mentioned something, Georgina, that I thought was really important. I'd like to go back to, if I may, which is how we women, whether we work or not, or whether we're parents or not, we all juggle a huge amount. Yeah. And sometimes, for example, we're working and then our children have an issue, or we think that letting go of our child when they go to university is going to be an easier, because it's expected, we think it will be easy, but it's not. And I guess what I'm saying is, as women, we deal with so much, both physically, emotionally. We juggle work and families and demands, and sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. And my philosophy is just count the small wins, be proud of what you do, and girl, do it. I just wanted to say that.
I think and I think that's so important. I mean, recognize the small wins, inhale, smile, and now let's seize the autumn. You see, I'll give you another quote because they're so good. I think that
right. I believe that smile every day. Smile every day and inhale. That's a philosophy. My kids, I have that written on our wall in the kitchen. Smile every day. They always say, "Oh, it's another mommyism," but we will.
I guess also you've kind of touched on the fact that when children go to university, mothers think, sometimes you may think that's going to be easy because that's expected of you. But even when they go away to work somewhere else, that can also have a huge impact, because I guess particularly now, because of the pandemic, we've all been living together so intensely. In some cases, we haven't been able to go to uni or to go to work. Absolutely. So these struggles are very real at the moment.
Absolutely. And, I think as middle agers, we face so many challenges that have just been almost magnified in this weird 18 months. But it's also created new opportunities. I wrote a blog about don't forget what you learned during the lockdown. For example, perhaps you don't need to see the 7 million people that you thought you needed to see every month previously. Quality over quantity, just a point. Or perhaps pick some of the more meditative experiences of lockdown when we were forced to be more insular, and keep them in your life and don't have the frantic pace that we had before. I mean, that's easy to be said, but I mean, my diary is a joke right now, as I'm sure yours is as well, but just try to keep it in mind. And, it's one of the beliefs that I have is, being positive and also self-care, try to keep whatever helps you be strong in the forefront of your weekly planner.
So what does the future hold for the next half?
Thank you. It's an exciting question. I don't know. We've had quantum leaps over the last 5 months. I'm featured in, well, the next half's blogs are featured in 4 global EMAGs now. I'm an advisor to another EMAG. I want to focus on really doing the business advisory in equal portion of my week as the personal advisory. And right now I'm lucky. I have wait lists, but please, do contact me if you're interested in my expertise. But I just get such pleasure and fulfillment out of helping women in their 45 plus segment. And I shouldn't say it's just women, because I actually do have 2 men, but my primary focus is women in the 45 plus segment figure out the next path. I mean, that is that huge, I get it. I was there. I was that middle ager who, had lots of, busy days and had a job, but I get when you don't know really what the path is, but there is some path out there. Yeah. And I get that. So let me help you. Yeah.
Well, I think what I definitely felt when I was younger, I knew exactly where I was going. And then the older you get, the less the less clear the path is. So I think that will ring true for many, many people. I should mention now that if people want to get in touch, you've got a website, the-next-half.org. And I'll be putting all the other links to the Instagram and I checked it, it's right. And Facebook.
The way you said it isn't the way I say it. So I was thinking, is that right?
How would you say it?
Well, in my lovely accent, I'd say www.the-next-half.org. Is that what you said?
I think I did, but without the www dot. So,
yes,
but it's much better in your New York.
No. I love the way you say half. The next half.
Half. It's not the next half. It's the next half.
It doesn't mean whatever. Just find me. Let me see if I can help you personally and professionally.
Yeah. So what did you, over this, past 18 months, obviously you've been incredibly busy. You've had a full house and starting the new business. But what are the things that you think you've learned about yourself and the business over the last, over this period of time?
That is such a great question. And I wish I knew you were going to ask me that, but I'm going to, off the top of my head,
I like off the top of your head.
Yeah, no. I can see that. It's great. What have I learned about myself and my business over the last 18 months? I've learned, 1, power of positivity. That is very much me. Believe in yourself. Believe that whatever you think you can do, or even if you don't know what it is you can do, if you think there's something in you, pursue it. I mean, I had that feeling for a long time, and all of a sudden the epiphany came, and that road is circuitous, is murky, but with help and your self-belief, it can be traveled. Yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing I learned, and I believe, is the importance of time management. And it's that constant struggle we all have, whether you're an entrepreneur or a parent or just trying to get through the day. It's that constant fight between what you want to do and what you do. And, the fact that I write my to-do list and I sometimes literally just move them to the next day is frustrating, but celebrate the small wins, right? Celebrate the one thing that you crossed off. And even if there's 67 that you haven't. So positivity, the small wins, and also gratitude. I'm really thankful that I've had the ability to resonate with the people, the individuals, and the businesses that have found me and have written great, generous testimonials to my service. And thank you. And I hope I can continue to help more.
Well, I think it's fantastic because, I mean, let's be honest, you only really started the business, how many months ago
March
now?
29th.
This 29th. Year?
Yeah.
Or this year.
I'm Quantum Leap 101.
Honestly, Kirsten, that is incredible. And I would just like to say, she has a website, she has a blog, she's now got a podcast, she's got a Facebook page and an Instagram page. So, I mean, that's incredible.
LinkedIn and Twitter.
Oh, sorry. Yes. And LinkedIn and Twitter. So she is everywhere. And
but I'll get there.
Yeah. But my point is that's a huge, just getting those things set up, let alone actually doing what the next half does, which is helping, personal and business development in an advisory capacity. that's the main job, but setting up everything else must have taken such a huge amount of time.
It does, and that's the key to time management. And for
Yeah.
example, for the next couple of weeks, I'm not posting the blogs because I'm doing the corporate advisory and I'm doing the social media. And as you said, I mean, social media happens every day, every week, but
Yeah.
doing the strategy going forward takes time. And then I have one son still at home, and he deserves to get dinner and a pat on the head every so often. So, but that's the challenge that we all face.
Yeah, you're right. It's juggling all those balls. So, what is your? This is the final question. What tip would you give to people who are wanting to make the leap? The next half. What would you like to say to them, and how can they get in touch with you?
I'd say believe in yourself. You can do it. If you've got a feeling inside, pursue it. You can do it. I'd say get advice, do your homework, do research, be educated, network, come to people that are offering help, figure out where you can get your best bang for the buck, if you will. Don't be shy to spend a little bit of money strategically if that education or that advice helps you launch. I think I'll stop there. Yeah. Oh, how you can find me. So
yes,
the company is called The Next Half. Please look at us we were struggling through it, but it's www.the-next-half.org. And yes. I'm Kirsten, and the team and I are waiting to hear from you. Thanks so much.
Oh, well, I think that a lot of people will be getting in touch because I think it's a fantastic opportunity to get some serious advice from someone who actually does know what they're talking about. And I say that honestly because I think there are a lot of people out there that are saying they do, but they don't have the years of experience. And I swear, I mean, as a last thing, that's the thing, as women, when we get older, we're often like slightly parked on the rubbish heap, but in fact we have a huge amount of experience and life skills which cannot be found anywhere else. So this is an opportunity for people to really tap into those with The Next Half. Kirsten, thank you so much, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.